Hello, happy Wednesday. Welcome to Boot Camp. Coach Jazzy here. And it's our pre-Thanksgiving workout. So, day before Thanksgiving, I do not have a Thanksgiving theme for us today. I wanted to keep a little bit short and sweet today for us. Again, it's the last workout before Thanksgiving. So we're gonna do 3 rounds. We're gonna do 45, 15. I'm gonna go ahead real quick with demos. We don't need any equipment today. We are gonna be getting up and down, so we just need enough space to kind of do that. But we're gonna go ahead and get right into our demos. So first movement, what we're going to do is a bottom half push-up. So what that's going to look like, camera a little bit more. For that, we are going to start off on the ground. So we're in our regular push-up position on the ground. We're doing a slight push-up and back down. So we're pushing through, lifting ourselves about halfway up. That also can be looking like this from our knees, coming halfway up and back down. That's most likely what mine are going to look like today. So that's our first movement. And then after that, we're going to do a rolling plank or a plank rotation, whatever you would like to call it. But we're going to have either on our elbows, rotating up into the other side, or you can be on your hands doing the same thing. So working on our core strength and our arm strength. And then from there, we're going to do a kneel to squat. So starting off with both of our knees in our tall kneeling position, 1 foot into the ground, and then we're going to alternate there. So getting into the bottom half of our squat. And then we're going to stand up. This is where lots of up and down today. But we're going to do 1.5 squats. So we're going to have our feet hip width apart here. We're going to come all the way down into our squat, halfway up, all the way down, all the way up. So that's going to be our squat for today, or sorry, that movement. And then we're going to get more into a little bit of the cardio aspect of things. So first off, we're going to do a triple switch into our single leg RDL. So we're here, 1 knee up, switch 1, 2, 3 times. And then on the third one, going back, pushing back in, 2, 3, and same thing that way. So that's going to be our first cardio movement. And then lastly, we are just going to go ahead and do a 2-inch run in place. So side bend in the hips and then our knees on our toes, running really fast through our feet, nice and slow through our arms. So that is going to be today's workout. So we're going to go ahead and get into our warm up. Just going to move that back a little bit. That actually works better. I don't know. I didn't think about that. Okay. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to do the world's greatest stretch to start. So we're going to go ahead and interlace our fingers, grabbing onto one of our knees, pulling towards our chest. And then we're going to go ahead and exhale, step back into our reverse lunge. Hands coming down on the inside of our front foot. Back leg stays nice and straight. Nice big deep inhale. And exhaling, opening up towards the ceiling, looking past our hand, thumb is facing behind us. Again, that nice rotation. We're also opening up our hip. Let's go ahead and exhale, plant our hand outside of our front foot. Bring our back foot a little bit closer and push our hips up into our hamstring stretch. And let's go ahead and exhale. Bring our feet together, pushing on away, stand on up. Perfect. All right, we're gonna go ahead and do the same thing on the other side. So interlace our fingers, grabbing onto our other knee, pulling towards our chest. Oh, I just did that one. Where do I miss one now? And then we're gonna go ahead. No, wait, no, I'm on the right one. Then we're gonna exhale into our reverse lunge, keeping our back leg nice and straight. Nice big deep inhale. And exhaling, opening up towards the ceiling, looking past our hand, thumb is facing behind us. And exhaling, planting outside of our front foot. Bring our back foot a little bit closer and push our hips up into our hamstring stretch. Let's go ahead and exhale. Bring our feet together, push ground away, stand on up. All right. Last but not least, we're gonna go ahead and do a couple of planks of pikes here so we can really just warm up our arms and our core. So making our way onto our hands and toes. And let's go ahead, push our hips up into our down dog position or pike position. We can go ahead, put our heels into the ground, one foot at a time, pushing into our heels. And then let's go ahead, come back to our plank. We're gonna do a couple quick ones coming up and down. 2 more coming up and down. And last one coming on up. Now we can go ahead, make our way to our plank. Gently bring our knees to the ground. We are ready to rock and roll. So we are starting off with our push-ups. So we're gonna do the bottom half of our push-up to start. So laying flat on the ground, we're gonna do 45, 15. I'm gonna get the timer started here. 3, 2, 1, and go. So we're starting off all the way down on the ground, whole body on the ground, hands at the bottom of our rib cage here. So they should be under our armpits. That's gonna give us that the nice angles and position we want to be in. So we're here onto our toes. Exhale, pushing about halfway up and back down. And if you are more comfortable going from your knees for this one, definitely do that. We want to keep our chin tucked. Job. This is like the opposite. Eccentric push-up. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have our rolling plank. So either on our hands or on our elbows, whatever feels better today. 3, 2, 1. Regardless of which one we're doing, we want to make sure we're looking out a little bit ahead of us. Butt is down, belly button tucked in. And then coming into our side plank. So really important too, with the side plank, we want our elbow to be under our shoulder. We shouldn't be out here like this. It's going to put the pressure on our joint. We want to keep our elbow stacked, even a little bit closer, so there's a little bit of an angle. That way we use our shoulder muscle versus our joint. So that's the key here. Opening up, looking towards our hands as we open up. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have our tall kneeling to squat. So we're going to have our kneeling position here. I'm going to face the camera for the first few rounds. 3, 2, 1. So we are putting one foot on the ground. Our knee is forward, right over my second toe, right? Just like a regular 2-leg squat. I'm going to push through my leg, get into my squat, back down, and other side, same thing. So really making sure we're keeping our same squat positioning, same position as we would if I was just standing here squatting. Great job. Three, 2, 1. Perfect. All right. Next up, we have 1.5 squats. I turn the fan on real quick. So we're going all the way down, halfway up, all the way down, all the way up. 3, 2, 1. So feet are hip width apart here. Belly button is tucked. Core is engaged. Coming all the way down. Halfway up, all the way down, all the way back up. So really important that our core is engaged. We're driving through our whole foot. Want to make sure we're using our glutes. We're not using our back to stand back up. So that's the key here. Great job. Keep pushing, doing great. 3, 2, 1. All right, perfect. Last up, or next up, we have triple switch into our single leg RDL. Nice sip of water. 3, 2, 1. So knee is up. 1, 2, 3. Pushing our hips back. Push the ground away. 1, 2, 3. And same thing. So keeping, as always, our key here. We have our headlights on our hips. Our headlights on our hips are blinding the ground as we go into our RDL here. So hips are facing down as we come back. If we are not super good on balance there, or if we're finding our hip opening up, go ahead, put your toe on the ground and come into your RDL here. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, last part of our first round, we have our 2-inch run in place. We're getting ready. 3, 2, 1. So we have a slight bend in our knees, hips are slightly back on our toes, acting like we're running in place. And our arms are going nice and slow, feet are going really fast. That's our 2-inch run in place. Toes are getting slightly off the ground, but we are on our toes, making sure we don't want to be flat on our feet. Our hips are back, core is engaged, running in place. Great job. Keep pushing. Want to go really fast. We're like ducks on water. Waist down is doing the work. Hips up, nice and calm. 3, 2, 1. All right, perfect. 1 round down, 2 to go. We are going back to the ground. Go ahead, put my camera down there. Bottom half of the push-up. So all the way flat on the ground. 3, 2, 1. So starting at the bottom of our push-up, hands again at our rib cage. We're halfway down. Sorry, halfway up. And then all the way back down. So we're starting nice and flat. Still want to make sure our core is engaged, our pelvis is tucked. Going halfway up and then back down. Making sure too, our elbows are back. We also want to make sure we're squeezing our armpits, okay? So right now, it's really easy to kind of have our shoulders shrug up. We want our hands to be here, our back is nice and flat, pushing back up. 3, 2, 1. All right, next up we have our plank rotations. So you can either be on your elbows or on your hands, rotating into a side plank. 3, 2, 1. So remembering to, as we get onto our elbows are behind our shoulders. So in my plank, I'm here, we're not here. So making sure our elbows are stacked, it's gonna protect our shoulder joints. We want to look up towards the ceiling so we get that nice rotation through our spine, but we're also really working on our side plank as well, working on our core. Great job. Keep pushing. These can be a little bit difficult, but we're doing great. 3, 2, 1. All right. So we are staying on the ground, and then we're going to stand up. We have our tall kneeling position here into our bottom half of our squat. 3, 2, 1. So we're pushing one foot into the ground, right? So our knee right over my second toe. I'm keeping my weight forward. I'm going to drive through this leg into my squat, back down, and then same thing on the other side. So same position here, knee is still forward, my weight is forward, driving through my heel, big toe, little toe into the bottom of my squat. We're getting our single leg movement, single leg strength here. Yeah, almost fell forward. 3, 2, 1. All right, standing all the way up, we have 1.5 squats. We're gonna go all the way down, halfway up, all the way down, all the way up. 3, 2, 1. So feet hip width apart here, tucking our pelvis so our back is flat, our core is zipped on up. We're coming all the way down, halfway up, all the way down, all the way up. So making sure our weight is back, our chest is up. Great job. This one can be a little tricky in terms of our form. Just making sure we're sinking back, sinking our hips back, pushing through our whole foot. 3, 2, 1. All right. Next up, we have our triple switch into our single leg RDL, and then our 2-inch runs in place. And then we have one more round. 3, 2, 1. Whoops. So we're here. 1, 2, 3. Sinking into our hip, push the hips back, push ground away. Really key to make sure we aren't reaching forward with our chest. We're pushing our hips back, and our chest, our torso is connected to our hips going back. So it's like we have a giant hole going through our head all the way to my foot, where my hips are driving the movement, and then my body follows. Then 1, 2, 3. Same thing as last time. If you don't have the space, or if you're struggling with balance, go ahead, come down to your toe. 3, 2, 1. All right. Great job. We went a little long on that one. My bad. But we're going to do our 2-inch run in place now. 3, 2, 1. So slide bend in our knees, slide bend in our hips, on our toes, quick feet, slow arms. So we are like ducks on water. Making sure too, if we stand up really tall, we're not going to get the same amount of it. So we want to be nice. We don't want our chest forward. We want to be bent in our knees and in our hips. It's where all of our power comes from, is our hips. So we want to make sure we train our bodies to run and have power like we would if we weren't just taking a class, like if we were riding on the street or taking a walk, things like that. 3, 2, 1. All right. Done with round 2. We're going back to the ground. Last round. Bottom half out push up. 3, 2, 1. So keeping our back nice and flat. So we want to make sure we're squeezing our shoulder blades. Exhale. Pushing up into the back of our squat. Or sorry, the bottom half of our push-up. That was definitely not correct what I just said. Want to make sure core is still engaged. Keeping everything nice and flat. If you need to go through your checklist before you push up, definitely do that. 3, 2, 1. Okay. Done with those for today. I thought that would be a nice twist and challenge for us. Next up, we have our plank rotations. 3, 2, 1. So, making our way to our elbows. Tucking our hips in. Exhaling, coming up and down. Keeping our shoulders stacked. Great job. Keeping it rolling. I don't know what I did to my hip. Okay, we're good. We're good. Resetting. Okay. Finishing strong on this movement here. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we are done with our upper body today. Moving on to our tall kneeling into our squat. And then we only have 3 more movements after that. 3, 2, 1. Finishing strong with our squats here. And definitely, like I was saying earlier, this is our last live workout before Thanksgiving from Exos, but you can always do recorded classes via YouTube on your own time. Last week we did some themed ones on Wednesday and Thursday, so you can always do a Thanksgiving workout from a week ago. Oops. But we don't have any live classes tomorrow or Friday. Well, we don't on Fridays anyways. And then next week we're back to normal. 3, 2, 1. Awesome. All right. Staying standing. We got 1.5 squats next. Another sip of water. 3, 2, 1. So feet hip width, tucking our pelvis so our core is engaged. All the way down, halfway up, all the way down, all the way up. If you need to move slower to make sure you're using your glutes and keeping your form, definitely do that. But as I was saying, next week, we are back to normal. The Thursday class, though, will be taught by Noelle. She is subbing for me because I will be gone Thursday, Friday, and the following Monday. So we won't have stretch breaks next Thursday. But other than that, everything back to normal. No stretch class, either in person. 3, 2, 1. Next Thursday, no Thursday, 1 o'clock class on site. But if you would like to do that on Wednesday, just let me know because I will be there on Wednesday. All right, we got triple switches. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. Push your hips back. Push your right away. I somehow today feel like I have more room than when we did these last week in here. Oh, I just messed myself up. But sometimes it's really just in the mind. Sometimes our bodies can do things and our minds are like, what are you doing? But our bodies are like, oh, we're good. So sometimes you just have to listen, not to what your mind is telling you, because our minds are also super powerful. So sometimes we have to create a new mindset to push ourselves. 3, 2, 1. All right. Last movement, 2-inch runs in place. I need more water. I feel like I'm behind on my water today. 3, 2, 1. So on our toes, hips back, knees slightly bent. We are running in place. Quick feet, slow arms. Finishing strong. Last movement of the day. Try and go a little quicker, a little quicker. Pick up the pace. We got it. Breathing through it. We are ducks on water. Arms are nice and slow. Sorry, neighbors downstairs for my running. 3, 2, 1. And that is going to be it for today's circuit. So go ahead and grab some water if you need it. We're going to go ahead and cool down real quick. We're going to do some child's pose. So we're going to be on the ground, make our way onto our hands and our knees. You can take your knees as wide as you need to. And when you're ready, we're going to sink our hips back, walk our hands forward, forehead, chin, or cheek to the ground. We're going to do a few breaths here. So we're inhaling in through our nose, into our bellies. And exhaling, sighing away our tension. Let our hips sink further to the ground. Let's go ahead and do one more breath. And when you're ready, slowly put a little bit more weight onto your hands, returning back to your hands and your knees. And feel free to stay on the ground, or you can return to a seated, kneeling, or sitting position. That is going to be it for us today. But great job, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. And a quick just trainer tip here for Thanksgiving. Really just make sure you get outside a little bit tomorrow, even if it's just for a 5-10 minute walk. Walking after your meal can really help with digestion as well. So if you want to make some room for some pie or dessert, go for a post-dinner walk. You're going to feel a lot better with some fresh air. Get out of the house for a little bit, get out of the heat. But that's my tip for y'all. But I hope y'all have a very happy Thanksgiving. Thank y'all so much for joining me. And I'm so grateful for you all. And I will see you next week.